Welcome back. It's a Monday morning and this is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. So good to have you with us. Now, while we live in an age of hyperconnectivity with all the capabilities of the internet and social media, people around the world are actually reporting feeling increasingly lonely, especially when it comes to their real-life intimate relationships. And so this exact phenomenon is, or of intimate loneliness, is what our relationship expert, Dr. Eve, who is a clinical sexologist and couples therapist, is exploring with a performance and exhibition alongside German visual activist Say Love this Wednesday at the Gus Gallery in Stellenbosch. Now, Dr. Eve does join us this morning as we ask, are you affected by intimate loneliness? How do our devices lead us to this gripping feeling of loneliness, and how do we then combat this? Our lines, of course, are always open to engage with you. 0214309881 with all of your questions and comments and more. And of course, you're welcome to engage with us anonymously. Dr. Eve, what a topic indeed. Intimate loneliness, yes, and you're putting on an entire show. So what can people expect from this show? You said it's an art performance that you're putting on.
It is. It's a really challenge for me. I'm very excited. I was invited by Say Love to come and join him for this exhibition that he's doing.
Yes.
His exhibition, he's a photographer, and he has got really an amazing body of work using mannequins, Kat, to actually exemplify the loneliness that we feel because of the social disconnect that we all have.
Yeah.
And the sex with things is looking at, is it because we're so digitally connected that we actually feel more lonely? Or are we lonely because we are so connected only online?
Yeah.
So I did have done a huge amount of research in preparation for my art performance, which is an experiential event. People are going to come into the gallery and it's for free. So if you're in Stellenbosch, come along to the Gus Gallery on Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock. And you're going to have an experience with Say Love, mostly with myself, interacting and getting a feel of how disconnected we are socially and how hooked in we are to our digital worlds. So there is this dilemma in a way. I feel lonely, so I need to feel connected, so I get online.
Yeah.
But the more time I spend online, the less time I'm actually connecting face-to-face with people.
And that's the irony, because social media was created in order to connect us, to make us feel more closer together. You've got friends overseas, you've got family overseas. Now you have them on a Facebook or a Twitter or wherever it may be, and you can engage with them more. But now people are saying that they feel lonelier.
Absolutely.
What's going on? Why is it not hitting the mark? Is it because those, I guess, those online relationships aren't real?
So there has been an enormous amount of research. It's been going on for a number of years, but it's only kind of coming to light now. And specifically, there's a woman called Dr. Julianne Holt-Landstadt, who's done the really seminal work around loneliness. And what she's looking at is the health implications of loneliness. And the results are astounding. Loneliness kills us. So people who are defining themselves as lonely and or isolated have got a higher risk of mortality. There is a 30% increase of cardiovascular disease and having a stroke if you do not have real-life social connections. We have got higher incidence of anxiety and depression if you do not have real-time social connections.
Yeah. Fascinating topic indeed, and that's why we're going to get our lines open. 0214309881. We want you to make a real connection with us and let us know how this phenomenon of internet loneliness or digital loneliness is affecting you, whether a device plays a role in your part or in your life in connecting you to the people that are most important to you. Give us a call. We'll be back with Dr. E very shortly. Well, as we do every Monday morning, we engage in relationship talk with our relationship expert, Dr. Eve, who, by the way, is on the brink of big things all around the world. Watch her on social media, okay, to catch up with what's happening. In fact, if you are following her there at Dr. Eve, you'll see that in her latest poll involving today's topic of conversation, she's asked the question whether you turn to your device for intimacy and connection. And 39% of you have said yes, you do. 24% and 24% say no, and sometimes. And 12% of you are unsure, because we're talking about intimate loneliness and how a lot of people, despite the fact that we have social media to feel more connected, are feeling more lonely. And during the break, we were talking about we need to define what it means to be lonely, because you said it's gone so bad that people are dying from
Absolutely.
loneliness.
There's a high mortality
High
rate
mortality
without
rate.
social connection.
Yes.
So the definition of loneliness is that of a subjective perception of being alone, and also that there is a discrepancy between how much social connection I want and how much I'm receiving. Isolation is I've got too few people in my world, because we've got kind of concentric circles, Kat. We've got people who we are most close to, and then your second group, and then your third group, and then your outer group. So isolation is I've got too few people in my inner circle with me, and also I desire more people, but I'm not getting them. And then I feel really lonely. So it makes you physically and mentally ill. And what's happened in England is a true fact, is that there is a ministry of loneliness because it's seen as such a huge health hazard that people are not socially connecting enough with each other. So I kind of want to challenge our viewers and say to you, why is it that you are not socially connecting more? What are the things that are getting in the way? Because we can't just blame technology and say...
Yeah, it's just a factor of many.
Exactly, it's a factor of many. Have you moved and found that you haven't yet established a network with other people? People are very mobile today. Is it because you are marginalized or disabled, differently abled? Is it because you are LGBTQI person and therefore you are feeling lonelier and you're not connecting and therefore, hooking into social media in a hope of feeling I am connecting with somebody? What are the reasons that you are feeling lonely? Because we know that people are feeling incredibly lonely.
Yeah. Is there a way in which one could use social
Yes.
media for the very opposite effect of what we're talking about,
Right.
where it does really result in more valuable, tangible connections?
Exactly right. So this is not about saying, let's throw away devices. It's not true at all. The purpose of using technology is to set up meetings in real life. That's how we should be using it. It's like, hey, hi, where are you? Let's meet up in real life. Let's plan to do that. Because the interesting part of this research as well, when we meet face to face, we are releasing neuropeptides that make us feel happier. Isn't that amazing?
That is, absolutely.
And it doesn't
we want to feel good.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you are sexual with somebody. It just means that, just like what we're doing right now, we're feeling happy because we're eyes gazing, we're looking, we're connecting, we're seeing a lot of cues that are happening. So we're releasing these good feelings. One of them being something called oxytocin, which is just fantastic.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good.
Well, I'm getting my full dose of oxytocin just engaging in this conversation with you, because it is so eye-opening, and I hope that it is enlightening to you as well. In fact, if you'd like to engage with us on this topic, give us a call on 021-430-9881, and we'll be back just after this break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's too much sauce. Get in here, Dr. Eve. Oh, man, listen, the performance that we have coming up for you is going to blow your mind, and we were very, very excited during the ad break. So much so that we went to the sound check and danced. But you'll know why later on. Right now, let's get back onto the topic of our relationship talk with our expert. On a Monday morning, we're talking about intimate loneliness. The fact that despite the social media that we have, all the different accounts you may have on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, a lot of people are saying that they are a lot more lonelier, right? And we did say earlier on that there is a specific definition, and from a clinical point of view, when we talk about being lonely. What are some of those symptoms to know that you're lonely?
I just want to say as well that one way to avoid being lonely is to dance, just like you did. I mean, look what you just did. You just
that was amazing,
went
though.
like that, and
That
you
was
just
so
went
good. So
look,
good.
But look how fabulous you feel right now. You're connected with others in a group situation, and that's what we need to be doing. So symptoms of loneliness is when I'm feeling depressed, when I'm feeling very anxious, when I am feeling as if I can't eat, I can't function, I can't go to work, and then you get the physical symptoms that come along with that as well.
Yeah.
And then there's a low self-esteem that accompanies that. And then you begin to isolate because you just believe that you're absolutely no good to anybody else. We need to have validation. We need to have a mirror, Kat, where somebody looks and says, oh, you look really nice, or I really enjoyed what you did, or that was great work that you did. And when we cut ourselves off and when we just can't experience that, that's when your health just becomes, really problematic. So I think the strong message is if you're feeling lonely, and that can be in or out of a relationship, and I'm going to come back to that point, you want to do something about it. You want to reach out, because what we reach out for are things like alcohol, drugs, and our digital lives.
Yeah.
And that's self-destructive ways of dealing with feelings which are uncomfortable for us.
Yeah. We've got a caller on the line,
Yes.
Geraldine, joining us from Durban. A very good morning to you, Geraldine.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call. It's just hit the nail on the head with everything we've been discussing. I'm a pensioner. I can't walk to the shops because I've broken my hip 4 times.
Yeah.
I can't get to bridge. I can't get to Toastmasters. I can't get to the school where I was bursar, and it's just terrible.
Mm-hmm. So, Geraldine, at the moment,
incredible.
what are you doing for some kind of social interaction? Do you have perhaps people coming to visit you, whether friends or family? How are you finding your way around your social circles with the challenges that you're facing?
Well, the staff from the school where I was, a couple of them come and see me, but they've got their families and life as well, marking books, and they're also very busy.
Yeah.
But there's just no mental stimulation. And I've noticed that I just want to sit and stare into space.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us, Geraldine.
Whoa.
It's a very, very, I think, strong position that you're in to be able to share with that. And,
Absolutely. I really want to thank Geraldine for that.
and that just maybe prompted a question from me that
Yeah.
if you're a friend or a family member of somebody who may be suffering from loneliness,
Exactly.
being that person able to reach out, knowing that we as humans
you,
find it
Kat.
so difficult to say, I need help,
Yes.
I'm feeling very lonely, because
Yes.
it immediately in your own mind makes you look and sound weak.
Loser.
What do you say to the family members and to the friends of those people that are lonely and in helping them?
So we've got some people who are at higher risk than others. Geraldine, an aging person, somebody who's disabled or not able to be mobile, and the youth. Those are your high-risk groups, people who are more at risk of being lonely. Geraldine, your story, I'm sure, resonates with so many people.
Yeah.
The moment that you cut off mobility and an ability to socially engage, you begin to feel that loneliness and depression that you can hear from Geraldine.
Yeah.
So I love your idea of networking,
Yeah.
Ubuntu.
I tell you what, we're going to keep our lines open. One more chance for you to call 0214309881 to engage with our relationship expert on the topic of intimate loneliness, which we're talking about today.
Only you can make my day.
Is intimate loneliness this
Yes.
morning. 0214309881. Give us a call. Are you dependent on your device for that social interaction, for intimacy? And how do you deal with the symptoms of being lonely? And perhaps are you feeling lonely? Because a lot of people don't admit that to themselves for fear of looking and feeling weak. Why do we
Yeah.
feel weak when we have to ask for help, Dr. Yin?
Kat, we grow up in a society which tells us that you have to be strong, especially for men. You have to be strong, you have to be independent, and it looks, as you are saying, weak if you reach out for help. And one of the antidotes to loneliness is reach out for help. The Geraldines of the world, reach out to people. Don't assume that everybody's just busy with their families. We have what's called altruism instinctively in us. We want to be nice to people. It makes one feel very good to reach out and to connect with other people, because we both have that wonderful response of oxytocin flowing through and feeling good when we're interacting. So somebody's not doing you a favor. They're getting benefit from it as well. So reach out to people. The reason why loneliness is now so prolific and why we have a health, not we in South Africa, but in England, a ministry of loneliness,
Yes, like you were saying.
is because of the fact that there is a larger aging population. People are living longer, and they're ending up like Geraldines without mobility and feeling the incredible loneliness, which has health impact and therefore becomes a public health problem, because more people are then having cardiovascular diseases and strokes and depression and anxiety, as I mentioned earlier on. So it's become a real issue.
Yeah.
And then the youth. Why are the youth so lonely? This is a very interesting point that we may have to end on. It's because their parents are connected online.
Because their parents are connected.
Yes, and are ignoring them. Their
Wow.
parents are not giving enough attention to children. We always say, oh, the kids are so busy online that, we've got to get them offline. Actually, I want to say to parents, you absolutely observe what you are doing and how much time. I mean, I got a weekly check. I was stunned. I'm spending 3 hours, 21 minutes online daily. I was like horrified.
Wow.
And
And
that's
that-
not
yeah.
chatting and dating. I'm reading stuff, I'm Googling stuff. I mean, that's a lot of work
For
I'm
some
doing.
people, it's just scrolling through timelines.
Exactly. So your parents are online and they're ignoring and neglecting our youth. And that's one of the reasons why we have lonely youth.
Okay, so in summary, and I love the tip that you gave earlier on about using social media to affect our lives positively. One, in using it to say, hey, where are you? Can we meet at 1 o'clock for lunch, and actually go into that meeting of actual people?
Yes.
In what other ways could we use social media to a positive effect in trying to curb loneliness, especially in our relationships?
Yeah. I think it's very important. Look, the fact is we are on social media. I never want to get rid of that. The fact is that we want to be able to express feelings, to be sure. I like voice to voice much more. You want to be talking, do FaceTime, do Skyping, so you get many more visual cues and more feeling of actually eye-gazing with somebody if there's somebody which is far away. Sending photographs, just really being more present in real time, but arrange to meet.
There we go.
We want to have those neuropeptides flowing through and feeling,
I like that.
Alive.
Thanks so much, Dr. Eve. Always much appreciated. And of course, if you'd like to attend that art or performance exhibition, it is on the 30th of Jan at the Gus Gallery at Stellenbosch. It's called Intimate Loneliness, a real life experience. There it is. You can see it. Make sure that you get your tickets to engage further in this topic. Dr. Eve, see you next week. And as always, thanks, babe.